Now the Spirit of the Lord is the one that speaks through me. Before my mother's womb, he ordained and knew me, ransomed me, and placed his words upon my tongue. Few are chosen, rest assured that I am one, an ambassador for Christ, his beloved son. And by his word, let souls be one. So welcome everyone to this listening party. Sit back and let your souls be hearty. Celebrate with me the gift that God has imparted. And what better way to get this party started than to give him the stage, because he knows where your heart is. Holy Spirit, you are welcome in this place. Give me the boldness to look upon each face and speak every word that you've given me to say. With no fear I speak truth, I won't deviate, and I'm confident that all will go great. So let your presence saturate this place. I breathe in your spirit, I intake a river full of life, watering every dry place as I flow to the notes that heaven navigates. Let it bless every listener and free them today. Let the truth of your word draw souls to be saved. Let the comforter comfort hearts today, and let the light of your word show them the way. Every time I write, I tell his story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. He opens up to me and shows me his glory. He gives me the strength to keep on soaring, and when I open up my mouth, for him I'm roaring. And the Spirit of the Lord goes before me, to the captive set free, that's reassuring. Over the years he strengthened my inner core, and every day I wake up just seeking him more. Am I ready for this? In my spirit I'm sure I am in Christ, and my Father I adore. He redeemed me from destruction, I am his ambassador. As the world turns and open up the door, I step in with purpose to win souls for the Lord. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell the story as I bask in the truth of his word before me.
Hey, welcome to Tom the Bomb Sports Talk, the fastest growing show in the world. It's Monday, July 13th, and this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. If you don't think it's a great day, just try missing one. And we, L-O-V-E, love sports and the Word of God on the Tom the Bomb Show. Yes, gang, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. On YouTube, our YouTube channel is Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. You can also connect with us by email at info@tomthebombsports.com. And of course, you can always visit our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. Sounds different. Okay. Okay. Hey gang, like we personally like to thank you guys for your prayers and your support for contributing to the show and our ministry. We sincerely thank you. With that, we appreciate your patronage, and you can bless us to keep creating compelling content and spreading the word of God. I love how smart she is. Our, our business cash app is hashtag $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. Again, that's $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. And we sincerely thank you, and may God bless you 100-fold return on the seed that you sow into the ministry at the Tom the Bomb Show. Tom the Bomb and Dr. Lauren really appreciate it. As usual, we want to start off by thanking God for all the wonderful things he's already done for us and the new things that are happening in 2026. We always want to talk about the new things, right, Felix? Uh, our theme for 2026 is the year of discovery, grace or beyond in 2026, so that we can be transformed to a level that none of us has walked in before. And so that 2026 can truly be the best years of our lives. Yes, it can be that for you. Yeah. Our foundational scripture, what am I missing, Lauren?
Just check that sound
Okay.
over there
Okay.
on that iPad.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. Our foundational scripture for 2026 is found in 2 Peter 3:18,
Direction.
the Good News Translation Bible, and it says, "But continue to grow in grace and the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. To him be the glory now and forever, to infinity and beyond. To God be the glory." Hey, gang, I'm pleased to announce our Community Hope Center at VCCI, Victory Christian Church in Ann Arbor, International, we've started our grocery distribution program, and we're feeding 50 families in the designated zip codes on the third Saturday of each month. I believe that next one is coming up is July 18th, and it's going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern. Our location is at 7-7 Metropolitan Court. That's in Gaithersburg, Maryland. For you guys who are familiar, it's right behind the DMV off Clopper Road. And it's the zip is 20878, and it's open to all residents of the following zip codes: 20877, 20878, 20879, 20855, and 20882. And anyone that lives in the Montgomery Village area, okay? Uh, you know what? If you show up, we're going to feed you, period. That's the bottom line. And it's on a first come, first served basis while supplies last. You can scan the QR code to register, or you can also register on site. But all participants must complete a registration form, please. Our goal is to work up to 100 families soon. Be in agreement with us to get to this goal. We want to be a blessing to the community that we serve. Amen. All right. Okay, gang. No trivia today. Hey, we got a nice, tight, short show. I'm giving Felix and Troy a whole lot of lasso in this one, but we're gonna start off talking about FIFA World Cup. The FIFA World Cup matches reached the final four, but before we get to the final four, Tom DeVon, I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here because let's start off with Team USA's embarrassing performance against Belgium. Okay. The United States men's national soccer team crashed and burned out of FIFA World Cup in an embarrassing 4-1 round of 16 to Belgium on home soil at Lumen Field in Seattle. Oh, Gina, come on now. Belgium dominated the match with goals from Belgian stars, exposing the USA's defense despite a brief equalizer by Malik Tillman. Defense wins championships, and in every sport, right, Felix? In every sport, defense wins championships. The lopsided defeat sparked massive fallout and disappointment across the soccer landscape. The match was preceded by significant drama after President Donald Trump reportedly intervened with FIFA to rescind a red card for U.S. striker Florin Balogun, which gave the Belgian team motivation and serious blackboard material as the Belgian team celebrated their fourth goal with Donald Trump's his signature dance, adding insult to injury. U.S. star Christian Pulisic faced heavy criticism for an ineffective performance before leaving the match due to a leg injury. Now, with a record viewership of over 30 million viewers for the most watched soccer telecast in U.S. history, Team USA screwed the pooch, Troy. And they took a dump in their pants. That's what happened, okay? On the biggest stage ever. Forever. Forever. Players like Anthony Robinson called the performance out of character as Team USA was outshot 15-7 on goal and failed to generate any big scoring opportunities. The tactical mistakes the U.S. made in midfield showed their international inexperience in World Cup games. With a golden chance to advance to the quarterfinals for the first time in 24 years and further galvanize a nation that embraced this team. They embraced this team like no other United States men national team. The USA, the USA's missed assignments, they defended naively, and they made countless mistakes that Belgium punished them with merciless efficiency. A soccer novice could clearly see the gap between an elite an elite soccer team over Team USA. Even a Belgian team, being European powerhouse, still past its prime. Now, listen, the U.S. team was supposed to win this game. Okay, the experts had the U.S. team winning this game, and they didn't just lose. Okay, because I don't have a problem with them losing this game, but they got dominated. They got spanked in every facet of the game. The Americans were in trouble from the first minute. And even after drawing even with another Malik Tillman free kick, they conceded the go ahead goal just 2 minutes later, and they never fully recovered. Game over, man. Game over. Cancel Christmas. So here's where we want to go with this. So here's an interesting take for Felix and Troy. So this is Felix and Troy. This is what I want you guys to pay attention to, and I want you to think about what I'm going to say, and I want you guys to comment on it afterwards. Okay. Here's where we're going with this. Okay. Now this national meltdown over the Belgium loss is the best thing to ever happen to U.S. soccer. Did you catch that, Felix?
Yeah, I know exactly where you're going with that.
Okay, this meltdown over the Belgium loss is the best thing to ever happen to the U.S. soccer. What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Tom the Bomb? Listen, right now, everyone is understandably furious and living in a state of absolute misery after this butt whipping that Belgium put on the U.S. But if you step back from the immediate heartbreak, Troy, this World Cup tournament didn't prove that we're failures. It proved that our soccer culture has officially evolved. Now, the fact that the nation is devastated and demanding tactical accountability and actively losing its mind, that's the ultimate proof of this concept. The apathy of soccer in the US is dead, and an elite expectation has taken its place. The way Americans care about the NFL, the way Americans care about the NBA, the way Americans care about MLB and NHL, soccer is finally getting noticed. Did you guys notice how on ESPN and all the talking? I mean, this this World Cup tournament has become a pivotal point in soccer becoming a global powerhouse. Now, the baseline has now shifted. So 2 decades ago, we routinely missed World Cups entirely or celebrated merely making the knockouts. Okay. Now, in this tournament, the U.S. topped Group D and won 3 games for a program record, getting knocked out in the round of 16. Getting knocked out in the round of 16 now feels like an unacceptable disaster. That shifted in the standard is exactly how elite nations operate. Now, this is how the infrastructure is built, Felix. We aren't relying on isolated trailblazers anymore. Our core roster is populated by regular contributors across Europe's top flights like Pulisic, McKinney, Tillman, and Balagoon, while the MSL has matured into a legitimate high-level developing engine exporting elite young talent. So the outrage that everyone is now feeling, that's the final ingredient. That's the final ingredient in developing a true soccer powerhouse like Brazil, like England, like Germany, and like Argentina, where fans demand perfection. They enter every tournament expecting to win. You mean you guys didn't watch Ted Lasso? Come on, man. Come on. If you guys watch Ted Lasso, which is still one of the best shows on air, and how their fans reacted, it's life and death over there, man. And when they fail, there's widespread fury and immediate diagnosis of every aspect. For the first time ever, the casual American sports fan is reacting the same way. Like I mentioned earlier, look at how ESPN and the talking heads reacted to this loss to Belgium. Everybody was talking about it, man. And let's not forget, let's not forget the bureaucracy box that was checked off. Let's be real. You aren't a true global powerhouse until you start cheating. Until you start cheating, until you start participating in backroom politics, dark arts. The fact that we had direct presidential phone calls to Gianni Infantino to aggressively bypass standard protocols and magically delicious unsuspend Florin Balogun's red card. That means that we have officially graduated. We've entered FIFA corruption. We've entered the corruption complex box. That's been checked off. So the FIFA. So the weight of emotions on our home turf. You say FIFA, I say FIFA. The weight of emotions on our home turf over the last month proves that soccer has fully captured the collective consciousness. We aren't watching a novelty anymore. We are living and dying by the crest. The fire of collective heartbreaks, like we do when the Commanders, when the Cowboys, when the Ravens, when the Eagles, or my 49ers lose on Sunday, is finally lit. It's finally lit for soccer. And our expectations will never drop back down. So, the very last barrier holding us back from deep tournament runs isn't our tactical depth or our youth development. It's vocabulary, Troy. What do you mean, Tom the Bomb? It's vocabulary. Listen, the moment we as a nation officially stop calling soccer and fully transition into calling it football, the football gods will finally grant the U.S. entry deep into the quarterfinals and beyond. It's the brutal, necessary birth of a true football nation. The U.S. had this sentiment in 2014. They had it in 2018. They had it in 2022. So let's see if Team USA and America can respond. Felix, what's your thoughts?
I would definitely say this. First off, soccer, it was much bigger in the US than a lot of people gave it credit for, I have to say. It's just that when it came to Team USA, to your point, there wasn't much of a development of the national team here because, like you said, they weren't really developing the talent on the team, you can say. So even though you have the soccer fandom, people were watching international. People were watching, stars like Messi. They're watching the European teams. They're watching Premier League, so on and so forth. Then now, for the first time in generations, you see Team USA go as far as they have, and they statistically have the best team since '06. This is as far as they've gone in tournaments since 2010. And this is a tournament you have more eyes on because it took place here in the US. So again, there were more Americans watching it by virtue of that. The stadiums where the World Cup was taking place, these are places we know about. These are our NFL stadiums. So, with that being said, definitely to your point, I think the high expectations is going to create higher demand. So, yeah, people were riled up. They saw Team USA doing what they were doing. They dominated Paraguay. They had a defensive showing against Australia. And really, they were showing themselves on both sides of the ball, even what they're doing against Bosnia. So the fact of the matter, now that that expectation's been created, now that they have a general idea of what Team USA can do, again, it's going to be an expectation. There are going to be eyes on it. There's going to be investment into the product now that there's a developed fan base. And I think that's the proverbial kick in the pants they need. Sometimes, yeah, you lose and you win, or win and you lose. Sometimes, yeah, you don't have that turnaround. You don't have that turnaround until you have that red flag moment, until you have that, wait a second, I need to turn something around. Sometimes it's better to have your streak ended in the regular season so you have that loss. You learn early so you're ready for the playoffs rather than skate by the whole regular season to get buzzsawed. So, to your point, I 100% agree. That loss for Team USA Soccer, probably the best thing that's happened to the program in the history of the men's team.
Troy, what's your thought on the vocabulary of America finally getting to the point where it's not soccer, it's football? What's your thoughts on that, Troy?
I still don't believe that's the case. Um, Football is still football here in the States, and everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know who he's talking to.
as important as soccer is from a global standpoint, we're not going to let recency bias kind of dictate how we view soccer now. I think quite honestly, it's as popular as it is now because, like you said earlier, we're having the World Cup in the United States. That usually doesn't happen, right? So, to answer your question from earlier, I agree with you, but on the opposite spectrum, this is the best thing that happened to any other country outside of the United States of America. If anybody needed any reason to hate the United States more than what they already do, it would be this particular series where you know Donald Trump intervenes and cheats to get a guy who's supposed to be suspended to play. Now, Lauren made a great point last week. When we were all talking, she was saying, watch Belgium come out and not just win, but look to embarrass and dominate the United States off of this. It's ironic that the person that got a red card was part of the reason why they were able to get that free kick in order for them to even score a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, 2 minutes later, Belgium came right back down and said, "Hold my beer. It's time for me to score." Um, so, so, so I look at this as,
Hold my beer.
hold my beer. It's time for me to show you what I can do now. Right here's the beautiful thing about this. Right, this is definitely a learning opportunity for the United States. The first time they've made it this far, in, like you said, 24 plus years. This is huge in regards to getting new talent. But I'm telling you right now, the United States will never beat Spain. They will never beat England. They will never beat Argentina. And they lucky they didn't play Brazil or France. If you can't get past that big five, you have no chance of winning the World Cup. People take football in other countries. When I say football, I mean soccer in other countries way more serious than we do here. Soccer isn't even top three in the United States. America's favorite pastime is still baseball.
I disagree with that. Football, yeah.
Then basketball, right? And with that said, we're so good and we're so multi-talented because we're a nation full of immigrants. We do everything. We have a mixing bowl of talent that transcends different highlights of, strengths of regards to athleticism. Soccer is, eat, sleep, breathe in Spain, England, and until that happens, which I think will never happen, they're not going to be able to top countries that got guys that are 13, 14 years old playing on their national team representing Spain, right? So you can say what you want, but in my opinion, I truly believe that they had the opportunity now to do something. And just like Donald Trump came and messed up the whole vibe for the New York Knicks when they were up 2-0 and fell asleep during the first game at Madison Square Garden in the finals in years, right? They lost their streak as soon as he popped up. As soon as Donald Trump put his name in this ballot by making calls, the whole momentum shifted because now they're not just worried about beating the United States soccer team. They're worried about the bigger picture and beating a cheater who always thinks that he can pay his way out of nonsense. So say what you want, but this is actually a crutch for the United States. And I feel as if going forward, they might not make it as far as they did this year.
Now, guys, if you remember, we actually talked about this a few weeks back when the United States was undefeated in their group in Group D. And we were talking about because they had already made it to the knockout rounds, the big discussion was, should we rest our starters? Should we, the guys that have yellow cards, should we hold them out? And we talked about it, and I was like, no, 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 because this is a snowball going down a hill, and I felt like they needed to put the pedal to the metal and go ahead and smash Turkey because Turkey had lost to almost everybody, and then they turn around and lose that game to Turkey. I felt like it changed right then and there. Now they bounced back and they won their first game in the knockout round, but I thought the momentum shifted when they lost that game to Turkey that didn't mean nothing. I felt like they needed to win it for momentum and just building the team chemistry. Felix, what was your thoughts on that, if you remember?
Right.
I think that I, my thoughts were Team USA should just treat it like preseason, the turkey game.
Right.
Play the starters so they don't get rusty. But again, you're not going to have them play throughout. So I saw Team USA pulling out the starters towards the end of the game in mass. So that, and I didn't think they were putting forth full effort, to be quite frank. And yeah, I honestly still stick to my opinion. You just keep them in, not to be rusty if you're going to keep them in at all, but you don't want to risk injury. You don't want to risk fatigue. You want to be 100% going into this. So again, I stick by that. And honestly, I think Team USA, they got as far, I would say they got as far as they could. Now, again, the loss to Belgium was nasty. Like, that's an understatement. And we didn't even, I'm not even sure, did you even mention how the goalie hesitated instead of just kicking it out? You know,
They had a lot of mistakes, Felix. They screwed the pooch. Like I said, I don't have any problem with them losing that game to Belgium. I think everybody has a problem with how they lost that game. I think the mistakes. You go ahead and elaborate on it, but they played horrible. It was their worst game.
right? And it was something very basic from a goalie. I don't mean to harp on him because, again, I feel Team USA, even if they played a clean game, they were honestly outplayed. Belgium was just a better team that night.
Absolutely.
It's not a comfortable truth. And the fact of the matter is, like, I really don't want to harp, but it's a basic thing in any sport that involves a goalie, be that hockey, be that lacrosse. If you are that far from the crease, you need to let go of possession as quickly as possible, then run right back. You're not looking for the perfect pass, the perfect shot, whatever. And honestly speaking, I thought that was just common knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
but that happened. Then there was another play towards the end of the game where USA, instead of moving the ball forward, they tried to pass it back around the neighborhood of the goalie. I feel like that mistake was less glaring to me. They were probably trying to retain possession. Then, of course, the ball got loose. But I would just say this about what you're saying about this whole thing. I mean, it was really embarrassing to bring back the star player just for that to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Troy, I watched this game, or every game that I watched in the World Cup, I was watching as a novice. Okay. And watching as a novice, especially the game against Belgium where they were embarrassed, it was like watching an NFL football game where one team couldn't move the ball and out at all and were going 3 and out every time they got it. And then the other team was just mowing down the field, and almost doing whatever they wanted. That's how I saw that game taking place. And they were just totally dominated. Uh, so my point when we were talking about this initially, Troy, was the United States in World Cup have a history of losing. So they won their first 3 games. My whole thing is let's let's encourage the culture of winning. Okay, we won 3, let's win 4. Let's not take our foot off the gas. That's why I thought they should have went all out against Turkey. Troy, what was your thoughts?
Man, I still stand strong on what I said originally, just like Steve said. In this heat, last I checked, it's been 100+ degrees almost every day across the United States.
Mm-hmm.
For the past 2 weeks, it's been, you know, 97, humidity, no clouds in sight, just pure sun. And you playing in the midst of that.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer ain't football. It's not 11 guys on the field, and then you can just, sub in packages and wait in between downs to be able. Nah, man, you are constantly out there just sweating, running, exerting energy. The times you get the chance to rest, you take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't overheat your engine just
Okay.
because you want to make sure that it stays tuned up.
Okay. Well, that's great, and you guys are sticking to your guns. Yeah, you got.
And then to make things worse, like, yeah, you could try to do it to stay sharp, but football, soccer is one of them games where, look, the amount of offsides that the United States had, the amount of times where it's like, oh yeah, he got an open goal, but making bad decisions, turning the ball over, right? In the midst of a blink of an eye, the tide can shift in soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing Belgium did was they took advantage and got as many opportunities to get as many shots up as possible.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
when you get multiple shots on goals, it don't matter if you hit or miss or not. You stressing that goalie out every single time you put pressure to score.
Mhm. Yep.
So
15-7.
they constantly spread the field out. They was looking for extra passes. They would think that the striker would have the open shot, and then he would dish it off already out in front of everybody, so there can't be an offside on that, right? And I'm just looking at this as, look, the team that outsmarted the United States beat the United States.
Yep.
And with the birth of social media, man, social media been out for a long time, man. For a long time. Look, people across the United States been talking big trash, talking about how Belgium was scared to play us at full power, and they just needed the quote unquote Draymond Green to get suspended just so they can have a chance to win. And then he comes back out there and you lose 4-1. We set ourselves up for this.
Hold my beer, right, Troy? All right, guys, let's get to the final four of FIFA World Cup. And now there are four, the final four. The World Cup is at its semifinal stage. 44 teams have gone home, and a quartet remain standing. England battled through their quarterfinal. Jude Bellingham dragging them past Norway with his 2 goals. They'll play Argentina for the right to face off against the winner of Spain versus France. So let's start off with France. France still ranked number 1, 6 matches and 6 wins, scoring 16 goals and only giving up 2 goals. Who can stop this powerhouse team from winning this World Cup? If superstar Kylian Mbappe with his 8 goals doesn't beat you, then it's Osami Dembele with 5 goals will instead. This team has treated this tournament like the NFL preseason. They're just coasting through the whole tournament. They almost remind me of the unbeatable Russian hockey team that the Americans upset in the 1980 Winter Olympics. France, they know they're going to win, and so do their opponents. They remain the clear favorites to win it all with all of their offense and explosiveness, though. It's the ironclad defense that's going to win it for them. Felix, what's your thoughts on France?
Right. I think that the matchup between France and Spain, it's going to be a defensive matchup. Now, here's the thing. France, they seem like the obvious team to pick the win because they have to start Kylian Mbappe. Then you also have to remember Spain. Not only was Spain favored to win this World Cup coming into it, but also look at their not just their offense, and they were favored because of their offense. Look at what their defense has done. They've only allowed a single goal since the start of this tournament. This tournament's been going on for about a month.
Mhm.
They've only allowed a single goal, and that was in the most recent game that was against Belgium. So, what I think it's going to be an unstoppable force versus a movable object sort of game.
Bingo. Bingo. You stealing my lines. Go on, Felix, with your bad self. Go on
And
with your
honestly
bad self.
speaking, to be honest, I still see France coming up on top. And yes, I think Spain, they were the favorite to win, and they allowed a goal against Belgium. But here's the thing:
Mhm.
France's offense is far more dangerous than that of Belgium. So
Well, no doubt.
honestly speaking, Spain, take nothing from them. They're a consummate team, offense, defense. But I honestly think they're going to run into a proverbial buzzsaw with France because, again, you're not just talking about team power, but you're talking about X factors that can turn the game on its head. Kylian Mbappe being one of them.
Mhm. Troy, Spain is ranked number 3. They had a dramatic win over Belgium. It's difficult. It's difficult to fully appreciate how good Spain really is, even without their star player Lamine Yamal having a great tournament like the other country superstars are carrying them. It's their team defense keeping Spain alive and finding ways to still win. Like Felix says, their upcoming match against France, it's a classic clash of the Titans. Like Felix just said, an unstoppable force is meeting an immovable object. It's going to be fun to watch. Troy, what's your take on that?
Uh, yeah, man. I mean, that's the epitome of it. Spain is so deep that in regards to people that we don't even know just because we don't follow it as much,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to come in and be able to fill in shoes even if they get put in a bad spot.
Mm-hmm.
So Spain has the numbers to be able to keep up with France. Now, the reason why I still think France is going to win is because as good as Mbappe is, they still got other, midfielders and guys on that offense that can still generate shot opportunities.
Yeah, they're not a
You
one-man
got
team.
you got to have multiple shots on goal. You said they had 16 goals
Yes,
this FIFA
in
World
6
Cup,
games. Yep,
right?
yep.
16. So imagine the shots they missed. They have not gone 16 for 16. That I know for a fact,
Yep.
right?
Great point, Troy.
So the fact that they constantly apply pressure, it's hard when you ask your defense to continue to make goal line stops, possession after possession after possession. Because at one point, you're going to slip up. And there's going to be that fullback that slips off the backfield that you don't account for that's going to score a touchdown that ain't scored all year, right? So I look at it as with France, they're just too powered in regards to finding ways to get shots on goal. And the world needs Mbappe versus Messi. So I feel like that's what we're going to get.
Yeah, that's a great point, Troy. France reminds me of the 1980s Lakers Showtime. They just run and gun and wide open. England's ranked number 4. It's a game of stars, and Jude Bellingham team can do it again. You can't discount England for riding their best player. England is riding their horse, but no team makes it to the Final Four with just one man. It's still very much a team game. And over the 4 teams remaining, they have looked the least impressive. But the World Cup isn't about looking impressive. It's about doing what England has been doing and finding a way to win, period. Felix, what's your thought on England?
First off, I wanted to say this. Everyone says Kane is England's superstar, and he is, but Bellingham's an absolute monster. First off, I have to give credit to what kind of hustle does it take to score 2 goals within the space of 1 minute in the sport of soccer? Number one. Number two, England, they did this against one of the best teams in the tournament, Mexico. And again, this is a team that has Quinones and company. And what I want to say about England, they're also a very valid threat in this World Cup. And honestly speaking, I think Argentina's in trouble when they face off against England. I know Argentina, they have Messi. He's basically considered, the best player, legacy wise. He's an all time great. He's going to be an instant first ballot Hall of Famer. He's considered the best player of his time. But the fact of the matter is, but when you go player by player, player for player, England's the better team. I'm going to be honest with you. And Messi, I give him his credit. I give him his flowers. And he's still doing his thing, even though he's in the latter part of his career. But I think he's going to be outmatched. You're talking about an England team again. It's not just their star power, but it's their depth. It's how they play. It's how they attack. And again,
Wear you down.
That Mexico team, I think that told me all I need to know about England as a unit in this World Cup.
Troy, Argentina's ranked number 2. They're the defending World Cup champions, and they're hardworking, and they're finding out firsthand how hard it is to repeat as World Cup champions. No team has done it since 1962. Now, of the Final 4, Argentina has had the toughest road. The very controversial win over Egypt, being down 2-0 with 11 minutes remaining, and then squeaking past a 10-man Switzerland team again in extra time. And yet, they're still alive. Thanks to some serious home cooking, Felix, and divine intervention by the FIFA higher ups, according to everyone in Egypt. Okay. But they still have their version of Michael Jordan and Lionel Messi, who we all know can put this team on his back, or shall I say his leg, and win another World Cup championship. He's been there and he's done that. And experience really counts at this point. Remember, you got to knock the champ out. You don't get a decision on the cards against the champ. Troy, what's your take on Argentina?
Well, I'm gonna break it down as simple as possible. This is going to be physicality versus speed. England has always been known in regards to how physical they play and how good defense they play, which then turns into offense. Argentina, even though they're not as good defensively, they have enough firepower to be able to keep things interesting at all times. And not only that, like I said, in countries like Argentina, Spain, Portugal, just all this, South America. I look at it as these guys are going to find ways to be able to create offense and run sets that they just haven't been shown yet all tournament. You know, this ain't really much different than the NCAA tournament. This ain't much different than, the NFL playoffs. It's about when and where you're going to pull that big ace out your deck. And when you have Messi, what that does is it creates a distraction. When Calvin Johnson's on the field, right, everybody else naturally gets better because he draws so much attention towards him.
Mhm.
So when we talk about speed versus physicality, when everybody is saying, I'm not going to let Messi score, that leaves the door wide open for everybody else around him to be able to capitalize.
Mhm.
So, how they win, they're going to spread you out. They're going to find ways to get through balls in tight spaces without making offside penalties. And more importantly, they're going to play as a team and say, look, we don't care who gets shots on goal. We just want the opportunity to be able to shoot.
Mhm.
And speed can sometimes overpower physicality if done in a more meticulous way in regards to strategy. I feel like Argentina has a trick up their sleeve in regards to how they approach this game, and I feel like it's going to throw England off.
Okay, gang, let's take a commercial break and we'll be right back. Wrapping it up, we're going to be talking about Wimbledon when we come back, and then, we turn it over to Troy and Phyllis. We'll be right back.
Window Nation is on the Morgan's home turf to huddle up about replacing their drafty old windows.
This free estimate is showing how easy it is to tackle the problem.
We can get any of these windows custom made.
Yes, you can get the quality and style you really want.
And at a more affordable price than they ever imagined.
Now that they've sealed the deal, they'll be saving money year-round.
We're really confident with Window Nation.
Get your free estimate today and get 60% off all windows plus no interest or payments for 24 months at getwindownation.com.
Sheltered by the Sea of Cortez, Danzante Bay is a pure and peaceful oasis, an uncrowded retreat where your options are as vast as your views. If you're seeking a vacation that defines luxury and the true relaxation, look no further than Villa del Palmar at the islands of Loreto. A splendor of true Mexican hospitality effortlessly blends with rich materials and insatiable comforts to bring guests the ideal home away from home experience. With its quiet beaches, scenic vistas, rich history, and an astounding surrounding natural habitat, you'll feel as though you've been swept off to paradise. Not to be outdone, Reese Jones has crafted TPC Danzante Bay, a brilliant, multi-themed 18-hole golf course that runs over and through valleys, arroyos, dunes, and foothills. From every angle, striking images of the islands of Loreto and the surrounding mountain range take your breath away, while the challenging yet rewarding Baja Golf Course beckons you to return for more. It is an honor and my pleasure to welcome you to the world's most beautiful sunset and so much more.
And we're back. Tom the Bomb is back at Window Nation after 14 years away. Window Nation is a third generation window and door replacement experts. Okay. And they opened their doors in 2006 in Maryland with their first showroom. We now have over 70,000 showrooms nationwide. We're celebrating their 20th year anniversary. Quickly grew to serve homeowners in cities across the country. And we're grateful for every homeowner who has trusted Window Nation to upgrade their most important asset, their home. Okay. I went to work for Window Nation in 2008 from 2012, and now I'm back. I'm back like the Terminator. And if you're watching the Tom the Bomb Sports Talk Show, you can now actually have Tom the Bomb himself graciously serve you with your home improvement projects with windows and doors nationwide. Thanks to COVID, we learned how to do that now. We currently have some awesome promotions going on. Buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, along with 24 months, no interest free financing, same as cash. A lot of good things going on, along with other great promotions. So if you need windows or doors, call Tom the Bomb at 301-655-9992 or email us at info@tomthebombsports.com and leave a message and I'll get right back to you nationwide. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to serve you. Speaking of serving, Yannick Sinner beats Alexander
Zverev.
Thank you. I appreciate that, honey. To capture his 5th Grand Slam. Yannick Sinner defended his Wimbledon crown with a 4-set win over Alexander 6-7, 7-6, 6-3, and 6-4, securing his 5th Grand Slam title and 2nd consecutive triumph at the All England Club. In a high-quality men's single final on center court on Sunday, the victory earned the Italian his 2nd successive Wimbledon title. And, I felt he had to get this title, especially with his nemesis being hurt and out. He had to take advantage of it. The 24-year-old also extended his remarkable record against the German, registering a 10th consecutive victory over Alexander. Sinner's relentless baseline consistency, his sharp returns, and his calm temperament provided decisive as he pulled away in the final 2 sets. Sinner sealed the title in style, producing a stunning cross-court backhand winner off an Alexander's drop shot to bring up championship point before finishing the match with a blistering forehand winner up the line. Despite firing 17 aces and landing 80% of his serves, Alexander struggled to capitalize on the biggest points. Sinner won 80% of points behind his serve and claimed 68% on his second serve. That's really high on a second serve, and converted 2 of his 5 breakpoint opportunities. Alexander has now lost all 7 of his Grand Slam meetings against the number one player, Sinner. Once again, he fell short against Sinner on one of tennis' biggest stages. On the women's side, Linda Noskova wins the title against Carolina Muchova in an all-Czech final, overcoming Muchova 6-2, 5-7, 6-3 to capture her maiden Wimbledon women's single title on center court on Saturday. The 9th-seeded Noskova produced a composed performance to seal the biggest victory of her career and become the youngest Wimbledon champion since her idol, Petra Kvitova triumphed in 2011. Noskova dominated the opening set with her powerful serve and aggressive baseline game before appearing to be cruising towards the title 5-2 in the second. But Muchova mounted a spirited comeback, reeling off 5 consecutive games to force a deciding set and breathe life back into the contest. But unfazed by the setback, the 21-year-old quickly regrouped in the decider, rediscovering the authority that had carried her through the opening set. Noskova became only the 2nd Czech woman after Petra to win at Wimbledon. This win moves her up to number 7 in the world rankings, thanks to a bathroom break, and a look at the trophies and some cold water splashed on her face. She decided, I'm taking that big trophy home. And she did it. That's like so cool. You never know what's going to spark somebody in a competition. Hey, what was you guys have any thoughts on the Wimbledon? What do you guys think about the bathroom break that kind of woke her up? Felix, what's your thoughts on that?
All I'm thinking about is when Lamar Jackson had a bathroom break during a Monday Night Football game against the Browns, and he had this comeback right after. That's really all I have to say about that. But congratulations to the winner. Definitely sounds like a very eventful event.
Troy, you got anything on Wimbledon?
Not gonna lie, I'm not.
Oh, not a problem. Hey, Felix, what are we talking about next, pal?
Oh, you already know where I'm going with this. AJ DeBonsta, Wizards' #1 pick. And usually we don't talk about basketball until October.
Mm-hmm.
Not even during the NBA preseason. Usually football is the only preseason sport people look into in depth. But here's the thing with AJ DeBonsta, right? In the summer league. First game, he put up as many points as there were minutes in which he was on court. I believe it was 27 points for 28 minutes on the court. Now, here's the downside I was looking at. I'm thinking to myself, he has a 39.8 shot percentage that's hovering around average. Then I thought about it. If he's scoring about a minute per time on court, he's making enough shooting opportunities in order for him to generate those points. Now, here's another part of it. During last night's Summer League game, this is the most Summer League I have ever paid attention to in my life. I always knew it was there. But what I'm seeing from DeBonsta, this is just monstrous. So even at that, he repeated that. In yesterday's game, 23 points, 24 minutes. That's not even the kicker. Again, the shot percentage about the same, 40%, around average. But again, if you're generating the shots on net enough to have that amount of points, again, about a point per minute, he's a monster. And again, he's only playing half a game. He's not even getting a full game in court, what you'd expect from a player of his role on court. So to add on to that, he had 12 separate plays which involved either a change of possession or maintenance of possession. That's to say that he had blocks, he had steals, rebounds, offensive and defensive. He's a consummate player. Both sides of the court, he's consistently scoring, making sure your team has the ball. Now, again, I don't want to read too far into it. It's summer league competition. It's really a bunch of rookies and upstarts. But if this translates into NBA level success at the main roster, I think the Wizards have exactly what they were expecting in this draft.
Okay, now Felix, I know with your show, the Washington Sports Stand, I know you're strong on sports in the DMV. But that other rookie in Utah's look really, really good. And I know it's like you said, it's just a summer league. But so far, give me an honest assessment. Which one of them looked the best, Felix? Because that kid in Utah is looking good too. Which one do you think is looking the best so far?
His shot percentage was better than DeBonsta's, and he scored almost as much. And the thing is, like I'll say with him, he was more consistent with the shot percentage. So I give him his flowers and I give him his credit, like 100%. I might be a Wizards fan, I might cover DC sports, but I'm always going to call it down the middle.
That's why I gave you an opportunity. Troy, you got anything on that?
Yeah, man. So I feel like in regards to comparing them, it's a little, like not necessarily unfair, but like more apples to oranges considering the positions they play. AJ, while he can bring the ball up court, he's not necessarily the facilitator. He's looking to score off the wing. Larry Patterson is more like, yeah, I can, but I'm bringing the ball up court. I'm the PG. So I would say in regards to both of them, I mean, they're we expected them to be so far, right? Now it's just a matter of going to the regular season. How's that going to translate when it starts to matter? So I still think AJ still got the up on him.
Troy, you got anything you want to add in? Anything you want to talk about before we shut it down?
Yeah. We ain't talked about it, but we might as well bring it up. We got the 2026 home run derby tonight. Can I get a whoop whoop?
Whoop whoop! Right? You see, I got my card. You see Jordan Walker's in the home run derby. You see I'm fronting my St. Louis Cardinal gear. Let's go, Jordan.
So it's at Citizens Bank Park out in Philly, and we got the leading home run leader so far, in Kyle Schwarber, holding it down for the city. So in today's home run derby, we got Kyle Schwarber from Philly. We got Ben Rice from the New York Yankees. We got Junior Caminero from the Tampa Bay Rays. Jordan Walker from your St. Louis Cardinals. We got Bryce Harper, the OG National from Philly. We got Monteka Murakami from Chicago, from the White Sox. Wilson Contreras from the Red Sox, and Jack Cagley. I'm not even going to try. But anyway, I just wanted to ask y'all, based off of, y'all's knowledge on baseball. Of course, Kyle Schwarber is the favorite on, a lot of sites in regards to who they think is going to win, considering he has 32 home runs in the season. Ben Rice ain't too far from him with 29. I want to get you guys' thought process on who you think is going to be in the final. Not necessarily who the winner is. Who do you think the top two guys are going to be representing?
Forget about it. Forget about it. Felix, nobody can win this other than Harper and Schwarber. Both of them are Phillies. They're in Philadelphia. Nobody can win it but Schwarber and Harper. I think that's my finals. What's your thoughts, Felix?
I agree, but you don't even want to put in your guy Big Dumper?
Not man. Big Dumper is a game time man. Schwarber's a professional home run hitter, man.
I'm a Nats fan. I know firsthand. I went on a whole rant when we let him go. I know firsthand.
When he hit free agency, I was begging for the Cardinals to sign him, man. We ain't had a stud like that since Mark McGuire. Bryce Harper can hit a ball 700 feet. That's the truth. Uh, and and he's got that natural uppercut swing, Troy. So I think Bryce Harper is really the only guy that's going to give it. Look, man, God made Michael Jordan a basketball player. God made Tiger Woods a golfer. God made Schwarber a home run hitter. That that dude just hit dingers, man. That's what he does. He just hits dingers. That's what he does. Felix, what's your thoughts?
I mean, that's the truth. You can't argue with the truth. I mean, you're talking about a guy who said, I believe it was a franchise record for the Nats, most home runs in a single month, right? I mean, when I say Nats, I'm talking Nats Expos, about 60 years of baseball, 50 odd years of baseball combined. So, yeah.
The thing that amazes me about Schwarbs is in the major leagues, he looks like a man playing against boys in the major leagues. Troy, Felix, Lauren wants to know, where's Shohei Ohtani? Is he hurt?
I don't know. All I know is he's on the home run derby.
Felix, where's Ohtani?
I really don't know what to say about that. And it's one of those things about all-star games or all-star game events where sometimes a good player will opt out for a number of different reasons.
Mhm.
Maybe they want to focus. Ohtani's not having the season he wants to have.
Well,
and even if he does,
go ahead.
And I could imagine that he does not want to be participating
Mhm.
in a festivity such as the home run derby or the All-Star game, something he's been to before.
Right.
Now, it's a high honor, but I would imagine a player who's at his level, he's performing way below what he expected. I'm imagining he does not want to be part of it. He's probably wants to hone in. And this is something you see a lot. I mean, even in hockey, Ovechkin, obviously, he's the first person you think of when you hear who's going to the All-Star game. He opted out one season when he noticed his Caps weren't doing the right, his Caps weren't playing the best hockey. He always holds himself accountable.
Mhm.
So you usually see that when a star player's not having a great season and you play a sport where the All-Star game is mid-season, so that'd be every sport but football. It's quite often you see stars say, "Hey, I don't want to do this. It doesn't feel right." And honestly, I think that's what Shohei Ohtani is right now.
Well, the full-time pitching is really taking a lot out, and I don't think anybody wants him even in an All-Star game because it's more important that he take these 2 or 3 days to rest. And I would be surprised if he's even there. That alone, there's no way I'm letting Shohei Ohtani get into a home run derby. That's no way that's happening. Can you imagine if he hurt himself in a home run derby?
Exactly. And pitching, again, that takes a lot of strain on the arm. It looks easy. It looks like something to the untrained eye. But if you actually played the sport before, and I was never at the position of pitcher, but I was just practicing pitching. And I did it without stretching. You can guess what happened to my elbow. So, I mean, I can imagine that kind of wear and tear on your arm, plus you're batting back and forth. There's a reason why they didn't want pitchers batting and vice versa. So I'm honestly thinking, I don't know, maybe I'm speculating too far and I'm putting the cart before the horse as I tend to do. Maybe at a certain point he's going to choose whether or not he wants to pitch full time or focus more on his batting skill, because I'm looking at what he's doing. Does this really bode well for career longevity? I mean, if he wants to play the sport at a long time, especially at a high level.
Mhm. Well, Felix, we love it when you speculate anyway. It's a tough thing, man. The kid that was the number 2 pick overall for the Jacksonville Jaguars, playing professional both ways. There's a reason people don't do it.
And he's in 2 positions that involve running constantly, running a wide receiver, corner. And I know that he would have to do one as a backup role, or he'd have to do one as a side role, as in he could be put into the corner position occasionally, or he could occasionally line up as a receiver. Like, people forget Champ Bailey did this once. Sometimes when he was with Washington, we'd line him up at the receiver position, but he was never a full-time receiver. It was so rare. Most Washington fans can't even recall a single time in which we did that. So,
You know, you bring up a really good point because I never even thought about that. A lot of teams have done that. You know, people forget Devin Hester was a corner before he became a full-time wide receiver. They put him in the slot, and then the rest is history, right?
Wow.
And then you got guys like Sean Taylor. Joe Gibbs put Sean Taylor in the slot, right? And I look at guys like Dion, you know, guys that, you know, in regards to being able to do it, you just gotta be smart. You know, don't have him as a full-time receiver, keep him as a full-time DB.
Yep. And with both of you guys being Washington fans, you guys can remember when it counted the most, they would send Darrell Green back to run back kicks and punts when it counted the most.
2002.
When it counted the most. Yep. You guys got anything else you want to add, want to talk about before we wrap up the show?
Yes, I do. I want to keep it baseball just because that's relevant right now.
Okay.
With the home run derby. So I got two more things, but it's gonna be quick. The first thing is the no more timer rule, right? The pitch clock and traditional outs used over the last decade have been completely eliminated. Meaning, it's not like, let's say you get to the last pitch and it's only 2 seconds left and you gotta hurry up and just throw something and it's not a good pitch and now it makes the batter look bad. You can actually take your time and be able to breathe, say, okay, I'll be able to throw it down the middle, knowing that my guy can hit it in a certain spot where he wants it. And the second thing is the hot streak rule. Now, I don't know if this is new or not, but a round cannot end on a home run. So let's say someone struggles, but they hit 2 or 3 home runs back to back to the end, and they just keep going until they basically stop. How do you think that's going to affect the outcome, knowing that Kyle Schwarber can take his time and Munetaka Murakami, who I think is going to be, you know, a sleeper, can take his time, right? How y'all think that's going to actually affect it?
I think it'd be a huge upset if Schwarber doesn't win. That's what I think. You bring up an interesting point that I probably want to talk about a little bit later, because your Uncle Gus, he's an umpire, and the major league umpires hate this new rule where the players have the ability to challenge strikes. The pitchers, the batters, and the catchers can challenge strikes. Man, I love it. I think it's the best thing that's happened to baseball in a long, long time because these umpires ruin games, they ruin at bats. The proof is in the pudding that they're missing the calls, and I love the fact that they're able to do this. Felix, what's your thoughts on it?
I would say, yeah, it makes sense. And again, when you're playing in an All-Star game, the rules, it makes sense to make them a little different. It's a time where it's not a game. This isn't going into the final standings. I mean, I'd say the only bearing this has decides which team has home field advantage in the World Series. But aside from that, yeah, you get a little creative with the rules and just make it the best experience it can be for the moment. So yeah, you can pull a few strings when it comes to All-Star games.
Yeah. Well, Gus was telling me that with their collective bargain agreement coming up with the umpires, they're going to strike if Major League doesn't get rid of the players' ability to challenge pitch calls. I'd gut them all and go with scrap umpires if that's the case, because I think it's the greatest thing since hot dogs for them to be able to challenge balls and strikes. Because hey, man, you're human and you miss calls, and then these missed calls cost people games, championships, World Series. It's to me, it's too critical. I'm not a fan of replay because the replay doesn't work. But I love the fact that they're able to challenge these pitches, and you can see if they're
Not
balls
to
or
mention
strikes.
the strike zone is not a clearly defined thing. It's the
Right.
one thing in sports that is really subjective because what you have to factor in the player's height, what's their stance,
hmm
that this, that, and the third. And on top of that, the MLB, they review things in hindsight nowadays, and I think it's good for making sure it can be as accurate as possible. But even after doing so, I told you about this. I keep talking about this. This was years ago, but it stuck out to me like a sore thumb. Why do you have referees that had a accuracy rating below the 50th percentile of all MLB referees calling World Series matchups? So,
It's called
I
a
mean,
union. It's called a union, Felix. That's what
there
it's
you go.
called. It's called a
It
union.
always goes back to money.
That's it. It's called a union. Hey, gang, that's our show for today. Our Grace Devotionals have moved to Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, where you can see Minister Dr. Lauren. Yep, I know you guys want to see her. As usual, Felix and Troy, you guys were outstanding today, man. Great, great, great World Cup and FIFA takes, okay? Fantastic, guys. Look, don't forget to like and subscribe us on YouTube and hit that like bell, please, please, please. If you're enjoying the content, and you'd like to bless our ministries, you can sow into the Tom the Bomb Sports Talk by cash apping us at $TomTheBombSports.com. Again, that's $Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. And don't forget to check out our website at www.tomthebombsportstalk.com. And you can also email us at info@tomthebombsports.com. Hey, gang, for a dynamic, in-depth sports analysis and highlights for sports in the DMV and more, check out the Washington Sports Den on Saturdays on WBGR with my main man, Mr. Felix Bassi. His future's so bright, he gotta wear shades at night, man. Hey, man, time flies when you're having fun. We're out of time here, but we sure do thank you for spending your time with us. We don't take that for granted. Listen, may the gates of heaven open and pour out an abundance of blessings down on you that there just won't be room enough to receive it all. God still wants to introduce you to abundance as you live off the overflow and step boldly into the realm of grace. Remember, if you want it, you got to confess it with your mouth, believe it with your heart. Believe it with your heart. Confess it with your mouth and believe it in your heart that Jesus died on the cross and that he rose on the third day, not necessarily a Thursday, just for you. Hey, gang, Tom the Bomb wants to leave you with a thought. Today, duct tape may patch a lot of things, but 3 nails fixed everything. Remember, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Listen, may God bless you all. We'll see you guys next week, this same bat time on this same bat channel station. You guys enjoy the home run derby. Felix, Troy, outstanding. We got FIFA, round of the Final Four. God bless you all. Y'all have a great, great week, and we'll see you on Saturday. Tom the Bomb, Felix, and Troy out. Good night, guys.
This is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
Well, I'm coming out with a word in my mouth, filled with excitement to say what it's all about. For a long time, I've held this water in, let the floodgates open, let the miracles begin. I've prayed, and I've gone back 7 times, look again, cause the miracles are mine, stir the water. I'm about to step in like the pool of Bethesda, let the healing begin.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
It took a minute to get my composure right. For years it seems like I've been fighting for my life. Confusing times when my days resemble nights. But now this eagle is about to take flight and soar out of darkness to his revelation light. Though the waves are rough, I step out my comfort zone to walk on water, cause I know I'm not alone. God's got my back and reminds me I'm his own. His words are sweet in my mouth, they taste like a honeycomb. And faith has opened up my eyes. I've been through the fire, tested and tried. As I study God's word, I finally realize that my purpose to visualize, to bring the unseen from the realm of under night until I walk into the fullness of a purpose-filled life, cause I'm light. Yes, I am light, and I shine bright. I am an investment of the Lord Jesus Christ. Not only am I light, I am salt. When I enter in, I add flavor to it all. I bring truth, there's no dispute. Jesus is the vine, and in him I take root. I am the head, and not the tail. I'm an overcomer made free to prevail. A new design, a special kind, ambassador followed by wonders and signs. I am light, and I give sight, leading lost souls to a glorious light. I am light.
Daughter of mine, this is your time,